I'm still going to my therapist. Joe, tell me, what do you do?
I'm in marketing.
Holy shit, man. That's great. You want to go for a drink and catch up? I'd love to hear more.
Oh, that sounds really great. I I just I got a lot of work I got to catch up on.
Okay,
So
well, just take my number and we'll catch up another time.
That was a clip from a really interesting short film that I viewed called Moths and Butterflies, which is premiering tonight on HBO.
Yes.
And today, joining us for First Day with Kelly Kincaid is Kelly Kincaid herself.
Good morning, Sway. Good morning, citizens.
Okay.
Hey.
And then we brought a very special guest that's going to talk about this piece and talk about mental illness. Kelly, who do we have with us today?
Yes, today we have a filmmaker, Alfonso Johnson, in today, and we're celebrating Black History Month. And I was very glad that Cece, your rep, sent me over this short film because it's very timely. You know, we recently had news of the actor Christoph St. John, who was found dead, who plays on Young and the Restless, and he was dealing with mental illness. His son had committed suicide, and they're still waiting for his cause of death, but they said since his child's death, he's been dealing with a lot of stuff. And, you know, DMX has just got out of prison, and a lot of our great stars and celebrities that we look up to, black men, Gucci Mane, Kanye West, Don Cornelius, have experienced that, and people in general. So I thank you for coming to the show, Alfonso.
No, thank you for having me. Tremendous honor to be here. I appreciate you.
Alfonso, what's your background before we talk about this film?
From Queens, that's number one.
Okay, from Queens.
I'm
All
from
right.
Queens, African American, part Haitian.
Uh-huh.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah. Well, you know, because I want people to get to know who you are, and then what motivated you to do this work. I know you did it Saturday is a terrible thing to wait. You done work before, but you know, so you grew up in Queens.
Yeah, so I grew up in Queens, and you know, I started as a tap dancer when I was a young man. And then that kind of was the liaison into just performing, period. I did stand-up comedy for a number of years. And then my mentor, the late Charlie Murphy, you know, he had told me, he was like, you know, he said, you have everything you needed to be in this industry. And if you ever need me, give me a call. And so my first film is Saturday is a Terrible Thing to Waste, which is available right now on Issa Rae Presents on YouTube. He called, you know, he said, look, I'll be there for you. And when I called him and he was in the film, and that was the first time that I realized that I could do something, because that was when I wrote the play. Originally, it was a play, and then I decided to turn it into a short. And when I did that, it was the first time that I realized that I had power and I had something to say. And during that time, it was inclusion, lack of diversity. This was around 2011, 2012. It was Aqua Black Girl was like our only, you know, option, you know, at that particular point in time. And so, I felt like I had something to say. And I'm not 6'2", I don't look like Will Smith, so I'm not going to get cast constantly as a leading man. So I felt like, well, I'm the leading man in my life.
Yeah.
So let me do what I need to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's something to say. And so, you know, 7 years later, here we are.
Here we are. Issa Rae production. How did you connect with Issa Rae?
So my music supervisor for all of my films, my very dear friend, we go back to first grade, Philippe Pierre. He knew somebody over at their camp and then connected us. And then we just been, you know, keeping in touch over the years. And so every time I have something new, when it's, you know, near finishing, I send it over and I'm like, yo, check this out. It was funny is Moths and Butterflies, before the movie was finished, I showed it to them. I showed it to them, and they wanted it. But I was like, you know, let me see what it does on this festival run. Yeah. I just believed in what this film could be. And so I said, I just want to see what it does on a festival run. So it's really hard turning down a guaranteed distribution deal with Issa Rae to see what it does. But you know, it worked out.
It worked out. Respect to Issa Rae. I love.
Oh, she's juggernaut.
She's a juggernaut, and then she's sharing it. You know, she's pushing it forward and allowing everybody else to walk in those doors that she's been opening up.
Yeah.
I heard her once say that we should always try to, and when we come to network evenly, you know, network with people who may not be necessarily already big, already made it. Network with those who are coming up as well. And I liked when she said that. You won top honors at the 2018 American Black Film Festival. Those are friends over there. And you chose this topic of mental illness, and it's a really interesting story how you wrote Moths and Butterflies, because you've seen a perspective from a black male as well as a black woman, right? How did you approach it? What made you want to tell this story of Lenny?
Well, for one, I deal with anxiety. That's number one, and it really kicked in right after the death of my grandfather.
Okay.
He passed away September 2nd, 2012, and goes back to a Saturday because when I was in pre-production for that film, my grandfather started acting a little weird. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, you want to go see a doctor? He's like, nah, I'm good. Born in 1933, black man. You don't want to deal with that. So I would be in post-production for Saturday, and then I would notice he was acting weird. And then July 17th, he checked himself into the hospital, and he was dead September 2nd. Wow. And August 1st, the day that I filmed with Charlie, was dead. He was officially diagnosed. And I was there. I got his dead body out of the bed. I was in that room when he went from grandpa to a corpse. And that transition really fucked with me for a long time. And I dealt with that. Now, the second half of that story is that I have family members who are bipolar, and I have friends that are bipolar or have schizophrenia. But my aunt, who lives down in Florida, she's living very well. When I was younger, she was hospitalized, and I was about 11, 12, so I didn't really understand why everybody was coming over to the house and being all sad and whatnot. I just knew that, like, it was like a mini family reunion every day. Yeah. But I didn't know why. And now as an adult, I'm able to call them like, hey, check this out. And in fact, I sent her a copy of the script. I'm like, do I have your blessing? Because literally, she takes a pill in the morning and at night, and she's fine.
And you know what's so interesting about mental illness? A lot of people don't know if they have mental illness. They just feel crazy because when we talk about mental illness, we talk about depression, bipolar disease, and it's just so many things. And a lot of people, not only black men, are afraid to go get some help. And, for stats, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, approximately 1 out of 5 adults, and that's like 43 million people, experience mental illness in a given year. Some people like, why I feel so sad. And I gave a list of black men, but there's so many people dealing with this every day. So what I really love, and I want people to check out your short film tonight on HBO, because maybe it'll jar something with them like, oh, that's why I'm hearing this and that's why I'm feeling this. Yeah. What do you, in addition to your family members, did you have a personal experience with mental illness?
Well, okay, so there was 2 things. My anxiety started to get a little bit out of control where I became a recluse. I didn't want to leave the house. I mean, to this day, I prefer the settings of my own apartment. You know what I mean? And I began to I think
I'm laughing because I'm the same way. Does that mean I need to get checked out?
No, but for real though, check this out. Think just getting here this morning, I got to deal with 1,000 motherfuckers on the train that are like this close, and I got to act like I don't see them.
So how do you feel when that's happening though? Like do you
It's a weird thing. I mean, I'm a little neurotic myself, so I think about bed bugs. I think about a bunch of stuff that I probably shouldn't be thinking about. But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, you talk about the male and female perspective. I was by design. Sharice is not in the film, but Sharice is bipolar. And Lenny is schizoaffective, which is a combination of bipolar and schizophrenia. So you have the highs and the lows on the emotional spectrum with the auditory and visual hallucinations, right? So by design, I wanted to showcase 2 complex things to show that if you don't have that and you have PTSD, like my father who was in Vietnam had, right? Or if you have a drug habit, which can lead to other things like depression and whatnot, all of these representations can be characterized in these 2 characters in some form or facet. So now we break that down into each layer. Now, if you talk about not leaving your apartment, that is a reclusiveness, that could be a control, that's OCD, and how it all comes together through this one thing of mental illness is a gigantic umbrella. So all we have to do is just be cool with saying, if there's nothing wrong with it, there's nothing wrong
with it.
Exactly.
You got a cough, you go see a doctor.
Yeah. But she said something that's really interesting, Kelly, is a lot of people have it but don't even realize
everybody has it.
Everybody has
something.
Something is going on.
Yeah.
And
it's a human condition.
Right? And especially living in this country. Okay? And in the system that we live under, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress that's going to add to perhaps whatever's going on.
February 26th is the anniversary of Trayvon Martin's death. And I remember the first time that I heard that call, I didn't know what was going to happen. When I heard the gunshot, I have never been the same. Like, I don't watch those videos because completely desensitized.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember hearing the screams and hearing the gunshot. That's PTSD. How many times do we see somebody dead on the news? That's PTSD. That's desensitizing. Now, they don't even report how many mass shootings there are. That's desensitizing, which is a lack of empathy, which leads into a whole other thing.
One of the things in the opening scene of this movie, Moths and Butterflies, which is premiering tonight on HBO, and I would hope that it's only 17 minutes, so I hope you guys...
17 minutes.
17 minutes. Take the time out and do it. I'm always trying to understand, and maybe perhaps it's inexplicable, but what a person may think or feel in their mind. And Lenny's character in the beginning is watching this TV broadcast, and then all of a sudden... he can't tell the difference between what's reality, and then he finds himself talking back to himself from the TV and trying to figure out what's real or what's not.
Yeah.
People are living their lives in real life dealing with that same thing, not knowing what's real or what's not.
Yeah. No, I mean that's part of the mania, or that's part of the diagnosis, which is the auditory and the visual, and a lot of times, as you know, one of my best friends who is he's a doctor down in Virginia, he was saying that a lot of times these hallucinations are telling negative things. It's negative reinforcements.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's always either telling you do negative things or you ain't shit, you ain't never gonna be, and that sometimes that can lead to some real horrific
results.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That we've seen play out. And I didn't forget about what you were saying about the actor. About
Christoph St. John.
Yeah. I didn't forget about you saying about that because I don't know too much about that particular one. I know that they found his body. But I know that grief is very real, which is why I mentioned on my grandfather. Like just the other day, like when I started this journey in 2012, I was a dude that worked at Solstice Sunglass Boutique selling sunglasses for $11.25 an hour.
Damn.
And he passed away probably thinking his grandson wasn't going to amount to shit. And now I'm sitting here with you, and I was thinking about how proud he would be. And I went to call him. And he's been dead that long. And I still went to call him. So grief is real. But schizophrenia, the thing about it is, like, the auditory and visual stuff, like that stuff, it's hard to and many movies have been made about it. You got Fight Club, you got One Flew Off the Cuckoo, you got so many things. And so...
Silver Linings.
Silver Linings. Yeah. That's more of a bipolar thing, though, I believe, that David O. Russell talked about with Bradley Cooper.
And it all composes of the mental illness.
Yeah, for sure.
But I love your approach on it. Alfonso Johnson is here, filmmaker. He made Moths and Butterflies, premiering tonight on HBO. We're going to take your calls, 888-742-3345. DB?
Yeah, I just wanted to get back to, because within the 17 minutes, you do see a progression from where the movie starts and then where it ends, as far as his demeanor and his personality. I wanted to know, when people watch this, whether you are afflicted with something serious or maybe something not as serious as like being an introvert or socially awkward. What is it that you want people to take away from watching it?
The one thing universally I want people to take away is the ability to exercise empathy. That's the one thing. Because everybody, like, even when there's something happens, thoughts and prayers, that ain't shit. You know what I mean? Exercise empathy. If you see somebody on a train and they just look like they're having hey, how you doing? You all right? You look like you good? All right, well, I see you. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. Because if we collectively were to exercise empathy just a little bit, that would bring connective tissue together. And that, that could help. Like, you never know how small a compliment can be to you. It could be a mountain for somebody else. So when watching this film, and when you see Lenny and when you see Sharice interact, she sees him.
Yeah.
She acknowledges his existence and sees him as a full-bodied person.
And he almost doubts it at one point. He's
right.
Like...
Right. Yeah. When they see it, they know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like this internal struggle and getting people to. We always talk about staying present and getting people out of their head.
Mindfulness. I listen to this podcast. I listen to this great podcast, that Oprah does, the Super Soul Count.
That's amazing, bro.
Man.
You listen to the Holy Grail with that one.
Bro, when I'm in the shower and they talk about mindfulness and be like, just let the water run on you and acknowledge the gift of water running on you, I'm like, yo. I've been taking like showers for granted for like 30 years.
Oh man, I love showers now. They're better for me. Okay. So were you saying you weren't showering?
I was showering.
Okay, I just want to be clear on that one, Alfonso. All right, we got Ray on the line from Texas.
Ray.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning.
Right. Good morning, guys. I know this is kind of off subject, but I just wanted to thank you guys because back in November, Callie, you went on talking about, for male cancer and getting yourself checked. If it wasn't for you guys and I guess the higher voice that just kept telling me I better go get checked, I did. It turned out that I did have testicular cancer, got it removed in December. And right now I'm under observations, but I can't thank you guys enough because if it wasn't for you guys and your show and a higher voice talking to me, I don't know what would have happened.
That just gave me goosebumps. Thank you, Ray, for calling.
Ray,
wow.
Ray, if nothing else ever happened for this show, this is gratitude. Our show has done its purpose. And I'm glad you went, and I hope that people within the sound of your voice are motivated to go get checked out. And, man, we're here with you as you go through that, Ray, okay?
All right, thank you. Appreciate everything you guys do.
God bless you.
Guy right
Thank
here,
you.
man. Damn. All right. Peter in Canada. What's up, Peter? How you doing? Say hello to Alfonso.
What's up, Alfonso, Sway? What up,
good?
Guys?
How you doing, man? What's your story?
All right, so I used to live downtown, and work was down the street from me, so a lot of condos and whatnot on my walk to work. And as I'm walking, not 10 feet away from me, I hear this scream, this awful scream, and I look out the corner of my eye, someone jumped out the condo. And they landed on their head from, I'm going to say more than 15 stories up. And that happened 10 feet from me, and I froze. I didn't know what to do. I was shook, and I had to wait there, to give the police report and tell them, what I saw, what I heard. And as they were kind of putting the tarp over her, I guess her mom showed up, and she was screaming and hollering, and they had to hold her back. And that just, I couldn't help but cry when that happened. I hadn't cried in 10 years, and, that was just one of the saddest things I've seen. And it turned out it wasn't so much the death that rattled me because, like you're saying, I was desensitized to that kind of stuff. It was more so seeing her mom come, and it was this young woman, seeing her mom come and just the loss and the pain, and I could see it and feel it. And I've been struggling with that ever since. It's been about a year and a bit getting help, but it's a hard battle.
Have you gotten any help?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, in addition to therapy, I started training mixed martial arts, and that has really helped.
What do you feel about that, Alfonso? Because you just said grief is real, and when you hear him say that he's still affected by it, that's what you mean, that everybody's affected by it, right?
Do you have any kids?
No, but I had a girlfriend, and because I was just so in a dark place at the time, I just, that relationship's gone now.
But I asked that, and that even though you don't have any kids and you don't know what that mother felt, you connected to that common core, understanding that the life is gone. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
You know what I mean? And it, it should bother you. You never. That's not something you should ever see. And so, I'm sorry that you were there, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. And I see a therapist, and I think that is great that you're seeing a therapist. But just keep fighting the good fight, and just try to just keep it going, and keep doing what you're doing. And I wish you the best. I mean, I don't really know what to say to that one.
Well, make sure you watch his film too. It's probably something in the film that you can identify with. It's on tonight on HBO. But I learned a lot from 17 minutes of that film. I got about 50 questions I want to ask him.
I think that's cool that he's also found another outlet for martial arts, because I think it is staying present and keeping your mind active and stuff. So that's really good, Peter.
Yeah.
You're getting help in that.
Let me take one more call. Okay, let's go to Ben from Queens. What up, Ben? What would you like to say?
Hey, Ben.
Yo, what's going on? Sway, what's up? Yo, AJ, what's good, man? This is Ben from Torey Miller, man.
I've known this dude since I was 3 years old. How the hell you get through?
Yo, fam. Yo, AJ, I had to call in, dog. First of all, let me say I'm a fool for not believing in Saturday is a terrible thing to waste.
I fired him.
You fired him?
I fired him
because he didn't believe in the movie.
He brought me on for marketing. I ain't moved my feet fast enough, and AJ being the man he is, I took that personal. And yo, I'm just proud to see where this man's at right now, man. It's like, all jokes aside, I'm so proud of this brother. Like no joke, man. Like I had to call it. I'm glad I got through.
Did you know he was dealing with things? Did you know about?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Did you remember after my grandfather passed, right?
Absolutely. Yo, AJ was always a different cat, man. Like he always dreamed big and saw big things for him. People thought he was crazy. There'll be things that he'd be like seem a little off about. But yo, the cat was always like he always was focused on a certain goal. And like yo, seeing this come to fruition, the fact that he made a movie about mental illness and everything like that, it's like everything coming full circle. Like the man made the best out of everything.
Wow, that's what's up, man.
This guy. I remember playing in the courtyard with Ben at like 3-4 years old. And he was wearing like an Anthony Hardaway jersey and whatnot. Like, and just yo, Ben, thank you for calling, man. Love you, bro.
Hey, and hit him up on.
Love you too, my brother.
Hey, Ben, and man, thanks for calling in. You're a citizen. Give out your social media because you have Ruben from Texas, Chris from Colorado, Speedo from Baltimore, Divine in Minnesota. It's a lot of people that want to talk. And I want to invite you to hit up Alfonso Johnson directly on his social media.
I'm gonna make my shit public.
What's you're gonna make it public real quick.
Hit him up.
Hit him up. You can't. He's blocking us, Sway. He's tripping. He's recluse in that room. Yo, when he said that, I like to sit in my apartment by myself, bro.
Yo, it's comfortable.
Call me.
Yeah, our apartments are expensive. You should enjoy
it. I got a velvet couch. Oh shit!
Damn! You got a lot of crumbs underneath the pillows.
It's off on the booty.
What else? Your
couch.
Your social media is what?
Alfonso _Johnson.
Alfonso
ALFONSO_Johnson.
Hit him up now. Hit him up directly right now.
And you can hit me on my website, Alfonso Johnson, ALFONSOJohnson.com.
Okay, and Moths and Butterflies is premiering tonight. Tracy, you want to ask him a quick question?
Yes, Alfonso, because initially you mentioned how an exercise in empathy can just be like checking on someone on the train.
Correct.
But then you also said how sometimes you have anxiety, you don't want to deal with anyone on the train. So how do you mentally prepare yourself for being on the train?
I don't take the train, but
okay.
But no, I take the train, but I try to just look. I try to be present.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not Oprah, man. Like just she had Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle. It's just saying how just being present, because when you have anxiety, you're in your mind. You're worrying about shit that may not have happened, may not ever happen, and you're just all up in here. But what I've realized is when I'm present in the moment, and when I acknowledge the faces around me, I can see, I was like just yesterday I was on a bus and there was this lady and I was like, hey, how you doing? I like she had like really like arched eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, your eyebrows look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, thank you, I just got them done. And then that smile lit up, and then she kept that smile before, she was, you know what I mean? But she kept that, you know what I mean?
But how did that make you feel with that reaction you was able to get from her?
I felt good, but I just knew that she looked really angry. You know what I mean? And it's just like, hey, let me just acknowledge the effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she did look a little sad.
She didn't think you was trying to pick up on her, though.
Oh, no, I wasn't trying to pick up on her.
Okay.
No. She was like 80 years old, man.
Okay. Well, I don't know, Alfonso. You might see something in that.
No.
People got different tastes.
Okay.
Yo.
Hey,
Go ahead.
I was going to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you, brother.
You come up here anytime.
Man.
Anytime. All right? This your
fam.
other platform.
Appreciate you, brother. For
Absolutely.
Real. And I just want to say, like, this platform, for a long time, I remember when you had the old show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so great to have this platform. When I see like my big brother DL come up every now and then, and he's for 45 minutes he's dropping science with tattoos and whatnot.
With Jim.
Yeah. And it's always great to see. And I know you do stand up, and so I'm familiar with you and my man T Murph.
T Murph.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
Yes. I
T.
told him I was
Murph.
coming. He told me to say hello.
Oh, that's the homie.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys are like a cornerstone in our community. And to have this place as a platform for us to have our voices. I mean, come on, man. I got a short film. It ain't no feature, but you giving me a platform to get my voice out there. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone in this room for being a part of this. And this is a connective tissue that I'm talking about, so that somebody on the mic might hear my voice, and then somebody hears your voice every day, like that brother who mentioned the cancer.
Yeah.
You changed his life. You saved his life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You saved his life.
Right.
So I appreciate all of y'all, and I thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Alfonso Johnson, man. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. Alfonso_Johnson, ALFONSO_Johnson, and AlfonsoJohnson.com.
And Sway, I just wanted to give 2 books from Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now and A New Earth are great books to read for people just really trying to stay present. And I wanted to thank you, everyone who's listening. Please check out his film. Hit him up and give him some comments and response tonight on his social. And I'm Kelly Kincaid, KELLYKINKAID.
But not just tonight. It'll be on HBO for the next 2 years. HBO Go, HBO Now, HBO Zone for the next 2 years.
Let's go.
Moths and Butterflies, Jeff Friday with ABFF. Thank you, and HBO. Thank you to everyone for this platform, and I appreciate all of y'all.
We love Jeff Friday. Thank you for coming through and informing us. This is a great work. Make sure y'all watch it on HBO tonight. Moths and Butterflies. Up next, DB, who we got?
Rory Culkin.
It's the brother of
Macaulay Culkin.
I know you excited. Say 4-5.